RaynorIRL.
In an insignificant part of the mortal planes there lies an insignificant world. And upon it lies an insignificant continent containing two insignificant kingdoms, so far away from the eyes of gods and demons, kings and tyrants, great spirits and dark witches, that their names are rarely ever known by even the most erudite greater empires spanning the continent. However, it is in such a place that we have our tale. In the kingdom of Barca, a land of swamp and death, a recent discovery was made. A powder that when ignited explodes as if fireball had been cast. And thus it was given the moniker of dragon powder. To the opposite side lies the magical kingdom of Magai, where prosperity reigns and people are free to do as they please. Our tale will begin in this small but prosperous kingdom. And it begins where all the best tales do, in a tavern, located on a border town between the two kingdoms, known as Seville. This tavern in particular is for foreigners, and it is not well traveled by the locals. From here, this is where you'll be spending your first part of this adventure. In the middle is going to be dice gambling table. In the corner here, there's gentlemen enjoying fresh drinks, both grain and wine. Off on the side is a small leisure corner. Down below you have the rooms, guarded by security. And of course there's the fireplace, where several people are going to rest their heads. So it seems like actually Evan immediately went straight for the dice table. Tell me, so we have our first hero, Zill the Halfling, inquisitive in nature and...
No.
Oh, my apologies. Inquisitive in nature and just a little bit awkward, he sits at the table, rolling the dice, trying to earn just that little bit more money in order to feel his incessant need to discover.
Yeah. To discover and to make friends. I like friends. Gambling is a social activity.
We also have Cass, the tiefling, which I will let Talon describe what he's doing.
He is making friends, hopefully. Trying.
So we sit at a table, there's several adventurers here discussing. There's a lizard man. Which is not so rare, but still a rarity of these parts, not as much as he is himself. He also sits across from a half-elf and a human, and they're all drinking and speaking. We also have Uklema Sevioth. This one is a halfling, a rather rare sight around these parts, as their like has never been known to travel so far out of the woods that they call home, known as the Screaming Woods. Although it is known as the Screaming Woods by the halflings themselves and not by the greater world. And it's more in the woohoo screaming rather than the ah screaming. Bangle, what is she doing?
She doing? Well, first, this fly is suicidal. I'm sorry. Anyway, actually,
He's being pestered by a fly currently in the tavern.
Yeah, exactly. No, actually, so right now I'm playing the lute and I'm looking for anyone that's not looking very happy.
Speaking of which, in the corner we have Nilek, the most, one could say, rarest of the people seen around these parts, a drow. Normally locked away in the darkness of their own kingdoms where they feel most comfortable, but here he is. Why don't you describe what he's doing, Chris?
Nilek is sitting in the corner reading a unassuming book.
And what kind of mood is he in?
He doesn't even know. He's that's a tough question to answer. He's always
Unassuming or dour?
yeah. Let's go with that.
Unassuming? Okay, just kind of chilling.
Very focused, highly focused on his what most would assume would be his studies.
Okay. Well, since we have Evan here at the tables, Evan, how much would you like to make on the first bet?
I put aside 5 copper.
Okay.
However, okay. I'll do 5 copper, and how do I do on the first one?
Okay, so there's 4 people at the table. Would you like to try and cheat?
No, I would just as it goes.
Okay, just go ahead and roll a d20.
The D29, like.
Okay. So, as you roll the dice, you manage to get 3 ones out of 2 dice. And you lose your 5 copper.
It's okay. He has something else he wants to do. He politely walks around the table. Oh gosh, I keep trying to use WASD. Walks over. And sits next down to the tiefling and says, "Greetings there, sir. I noticed a cacophony of laughter at the last joke you told to the friends at the table. You seem quite glib with your words. I would love to get to know you more."
I'm not sure that's me, but I appreciate the flattery.
Humble too, and not only good with words. What are you doing here?
Well, that's a long story. I am a priest of Eldath, and there aren't many followers of my god in this land. But I've been sent here to start a new temple.
Oh, I see. Now, why do you think not many people follow Eldath?
Eldath is a foreign god. There's no native worship of him here.
Is Eldath of your people kind? What descriptor do you prefer?
You can call me whatever you wish.
Are you Dath, my lad? This is obviously a beautiful girl, and I'd appreciate it if you don't insult her.
Oh, is that true? Is it?
No, you are correct. My gnome friend.
My apologies, lad. I guess the drink be getting to me. Not that I mind it, of course. I can't be ours to really care either way. But, well, I'd be letting you know that Eldath it be not only a foreign god, but it not be of the tieflings. It be a god out in the wider world, generally worshipped in all the major cities. Rather peaceful god. If a little not to my liking, if I'd be honest with you.
Do you mind if I write that down?
Sure, lad.
Cass gives this stranger a warm smile and says, "You are rather learned, it appears. Well traveled."
One could say I'd be well traveled. I've had my fortune and lack thereof, which has ended me in this neck of the woods, you could say. But I have to respect the honesty of the clergy. So, you're always welcome around these parts, when I'm around. And he gives you a smile and a wink.
Cass returns the smile and wink.
So then, drunk, the human adventurer walks over towards where the dark elf is sitting. What be wrong with you, laddie? You're sitting there reading a book with such good company by you. What are you thinking? What's going on? Come on, let's have a drink. Alright, come on, laddie. Bud! A song from the homeland, if you don't be minded. Whoa, you got here quick.
Why the narrow face? Buttercup, buttercup.
And then I'm going to roll to stealthily put a paper flower in his hair.
Oh my god.
Chris, roll perception. Apparently you're going to roll sleight of hand. That's a really good roll. He immediately sees you trying to take the flower and put it in his hair. Chris, what do you do?
I lock eyes with her, piercingly with my purple eyes, and I just look at her with that just kind of deadpan face.
Doesn't take a cue.
But does the flower go in the hair? That's what
the
I want to
question.
know.
Do you stop her? Is that enough to Bangle? First of all, when he stares at you, do you stop putting like the flower?
No, I
in?
said no. I said no bounce. Like it's just, whoop, as I put it in.
Chris, do you react at all? You have the time to because you saw it coming.
I take the flower, and I just kind of take the flower off and drop it, and continue reading the book.
I saw Zill also walking over. I don't know if you were heading over here.
Yeah, I was, as I walk over, sit down on the bench next to the dark elf, pull out a book, and slowly lean over towards the dark elf, try to get a look at his book.
As he does that, I just kind of pull my book back, and
Well, before
to
you
kind
do
of
that,
hide that.
Before you do that, Evan, are you trying to do it sneakily or is it fairly?
Nope.
Okay. So then you can't do this, Chris.
Okay, yeah. So I don't want him to see what I'm reading.
Okay, so at that point, the human adventurer stands up and says, "Well, since all ye be new, except for the handsome, beautiful, I'm too drunk to care, young lad and or lady over there, welcome to Seville, one of the worst shitholes you'll ever find around these parts, where people hate each other.
Damn, son.
Extremely. The guests around the room are shocked and startled. And one of them, a rather fierce-looking barbarian, says,
What the hell was that? Meteor spell, maybe? What just happened?
Can I do a investigation?
"Yes, where are you investigating?"
Where it hit. The previous patron, right behind me, where it hit. So if I can tell from like the residue what spell this was, and
Right. So, whatever it was seems to have gone straight through. You're not a medic, so you don't really know how the injury was formed, but you can tell because of your. You can look over towards the hole, and roll an investigation. You rolled a 16. Okay. So, because of your knowledge, you notice that it looks as if a catapult had been blown straight through the top into the bottom. But what confuses you is a catapult would normally crush somebody. But this looks like it went straight through the opposite wall and kept going with a lot of force. But you know for one thing that it's not, you don't know what spell could do this, but it's not one that you are aware of in your class. But you're not a magician.
The dark elf he closes his book. Can I do an Arcana check to see if I know what that spell was?
Yeah, roll Arcana.
Here we go.
So
Here come the low rolls, boys.
You don't sense anything magical, but you're not 100% sure. You're a little shocked, and the blood in your eyes making everything look a little red anyway, so you can't really parse the magical energy that well. But you don't sense anything.
I assume that that poor, let's call him Patrick, just a name pulled out of a hat. I assume that poor Patrick here is unfortunately absolutely annihilated.
It is not Patrick. This is not Patrick. Refuted. It's refuted.
Would you like to make a medicine check?
I would like to make a medicine check, yes.
Go ahead and make a medicine check.
That is a 20.
So, in your absolutely professional and scientific opinion, you can state with 100% certainty that a head detached from the rest of the torso and a missing torso does indeed result in death.
I didn't realize it was that bad. Oh yeah, he's fucking dead.
He's dead, Jim.
He's dead,
man.
Jim.
Alright.
But
Well,
because you scored so high on your medicine roll, you look down at the remains of the torso, and you notice that an object that about the size of the one that went through the wall went straight through his body, and that there's burn marks on the outside of where the wound is. Almost as if a superheated object was used to pierce him. As you're doing this, outside you hear yelling and ruckus, and you notice that there is a bell ringing, and it's been ringing for a while, but none of you took note of it because you're not from here. But all of a sudden, the sound of the bell seems that much more important to you.
Direction is the bell coming?
The bell is coming towards the north side, so it'd be going up where the fireplace is, and the tavern door is a little bit to the south. But you can hear it louder now that the tavern door is open, and you see people running across it.
I get out.
You have gold on?
Yeah, I'm gold on.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Bangle searches the tavern.
Yeah, he got a 9 though. I'm sorry, Bangle. You find a purse, but it looks more like a pancake than a purse at this point.
Okay. Anyway. Alright. Well, shoot.
As I watch them kind of leave the tavern, I stand up, slowly kind of make my way. I'm gonna walk out the hole, and do I see like anybody like running towards anything?
You see people running towards the east, but there's strangely not that many of them for whatever reason. There's citizens, and there's also a guard that's kind of watching over them as they run.
Okay.
Sir, I apologize for my rude behavior of trying to read your book earlier. However, I think we need to figure out what just happened. And, it's probably a good idea that we head towards the meeting place to the north in the garrison.
So I ignore him, and I walk towards the guard that's watching over that we're watching the citizens
Cass
escape.
also will do that. I will also walk towards the guard, because he seems like the person to ask questions to.
He looks over, takes a look at all of you, does a double take, and then looks at the tavern and goes, "Oh," and then says, "What are you fools doing? Did you hear the bell? It's been ringing for more than 20 minutes."
What's going on? What does the bell mean?
As our heroes would quickly realize, those weren't church bells in the distance. It was a warning. Seville was under attack. What's going on? What does the bell mean?
Bell means that you can put your hands between your knees and kiss your asses goodbye, because right now we're being invaded. It's the damn Barcarans. It's gotta be. There's no one else who would come from there.
From the west, the sounds of what seemed like thousands of explosions echoed in the air. The nation of Barca was at Seville's doorstep. Zil and Nilek went to the west to investigate the fight at the walls. Cass went back to the tavern to get his things. And Clemma, well, she had other things in mind. The fates of these 4 unlikely companions have been changed forever, and with it, the fate of the continent and its people. The Battle of Seville had begun, a battle within a greater conflict sparked by hatred and survival. What will become of these heroes, or of the nation with which they found themselves in? Only time will tell. Thanks for checking out this video from the RaynorIRL live stream. If you want more of this content, go to twitch.tv/RaynorIRL, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Thursday and Saturday nights. Come and check us out live. Or Sunday nights, I always upload a video to this channel here. Watch time is what the algorithm picks up these days, so if you are here at the end, thank you so much. Have a good day, good night, stay awesome, keep it epic, and keep it gamer.